Japan.
Brazil.
China.
Nepal.
Jordan.
Hello and welcome to the last episode of AU Global. I'm your host Martina Bach. AU Global gives you the opportunity to see the world from a different perspective and expand your worldview. In today's show, we will travel to a small country in South America. Zdenka Pozo is a senior at EU with a biochemistry major. She's going to talk us about her home country, Bolivia. Hi Zdenka.
Hi Martina.
How are you today?
I'm fine, how are you?
I'm good. So Zdenka, tell me, what brought you here to Ashland?
Well, I play tennis here at Ashland, and I guess my coach contacted me, and also my sister used to live in Columbus, so she wanted me to be closer to her.
Mm-hmm. And the first time that you came here, what struck more your attention?
I think one of the first things was the distances. Like people go to the supermarket, like to Walmart, and it takes you like 20 minutes. Whereas like back home, if you want to get like milk or something, you just go around the corner and there's like those mini stores that we find. So yeah, distances, like I feel that everyone has a car here and like you can't do anything without a car.
Mm-hmm. How is the public transportation in Bolivia comparing, at least here, to Ashland?
Well, it's way better. We have 4 different kinds of public transportation. The first one would be like these really big buses, and then after that they're like minivans. So, and then after that there's like a taxi, like a cab, a regular cab, but it's public. And then you have like a private cab, which is just you and not like other people. So you always find them around, and they have their own like routes that they take. So you just need to learn like where they go and see which one you get to like go to places around the city.
And how is the people, any maybe the social norms that are different, or how is people different from here?
I think that here they're like more friendly, like towards strangers. For example, like when you open the door, like back home no one opens the door for you. So when you're trying to get in like somewhere here, like everyone, even if I'm far away, they would still like wait for me to like go through the door and smile. Like every time, I don't know, I pass through someone, they smile at me. So that's like kind of nice, and that was kind of strange at the beginning, and now I do that, so it's kind of nice.
It's funny because when I go back to my country and now I'm used to a smile to strangers,
Yeah.
they will look at me weird because I'm smiling at them and I don't know them. So that's true. Can you tell me about the food? The food is really important in each country's culture. What you can tell me about your food?
We love carbs. So we have like more than 100 types of potatoes.
Okay.
So all of our dishes have potatoes, and then also like another kind of carb. So it's like potatoes and rice, or like potatoes and something else, and then always like a meat product. So that's kind of nice. But I love the potatoes.
Yeah. Well, who doesn't love carbs, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know, which is your favorite plate back home?
There's this one that it's like beef meat, and you slice it like really thin, and you mash it, and then you put like salt in it, and you over dry it like in the night and like at the sun, like with the sun.
Okay.
So it's like becomes like kind of dry and hard, and then the next day you fry it, and it's like really thin. So when you eat it, it's crunchy, so it's so good.
Is the traffic any different?
Traffic-wise, I would say yes. Since I feel that here things are more like expanded, so it's not like a city where everything's around the city. So like obviously we're like farther away from like a big city from Columbus, but back home, like the city itself, it has a lot of traffic.
Yeah. And the laws, maybe police officers and...
Well, back home, there are different laws. Like you can drink when you're 18. You can drive when you're 18 as well. So it's not like 16 here like here. And then I would say like as far as like police cops, they're not pretty like they're pretty corrupted. So like if they stop you because you did something, like if you were speeding or like ran the light or something, you would try to bribe them. They would even tell you like like how much money they want, and then they would just leave. So
That's
that
crazy.
was it, yeah.
Yeah, comparing with here, that would
no.
never happen here. And what about the education system? Is similar or there's more differences?
There are a lot of differences. Like for example, here like they have the dorms where you're actually all the time in the school. So like you eat, you sleep, you go to class. Back home, no. Like you just have, you just go to the school to like study, and then you go back home and do everything else. So.
So it's like if you could bring something from Bolivia here to the States, something that you love about your country and you wish United States would have it, what that would be?
For sure the weather, because that was kind of like different for me. The first time I saw snow was here. So I would for sure bring my weather. It's like 75 degrees all year round.
Nice.
So it doesn't get like hot or cold. And then,
oh no, keep going, sorry.
and then from like the US to Bolivia, I would take how everything here is so like nice and correct, and like everyone follows the rules. There are actually cops that care about your safety, you know.
Yeah.
So I would say that.
So what was your first reaction when you saw snow?
I was surprised. I actually like wanted to feel it on my hand, like, and I was like, how does it feel like? But it was really nice. And then I was like, oh, this is so pretty. But like for just a couple of first days, and then I was like, oh my gosh.
So how do you manage be so far away from home, and you feel homesick? You're not feeling since you're a senior, you're kind of used to this life, but I don't know, how is that?
Well, I talk to my parents pretty often, and we FaceTime, so that's kind of nice. That way I can like feel their presence, even though it's not physically, but that really helps. Like FaceTiming, calling them like 3 times a day, maybe, all the time. But yeah.
And in the same way, how did a study abroad help you to grow as a person, if it did?
I think it made me more mature and independent, because like obviously my mom and dad wasn't here anymore to like do something for me or like help me with something. So I become more independent, and I had to do everything by myself.
So what was the hardest thing to get used to when you just came here your first year?
I would say schooling wise, like maybe some of the classes were kind of hard for me, because like we had to take a bunch of core, obviously, like arts and ethics and stuff like that. So like back home I didn't have that like first steps, I guess, towards those core classes. So that was like kind of hard to study and do those.
Yeah, and would you recommend other students, international students as well as the native people here, to study abroad?
Yes, I would for sure. It makes you, as I said, like more independent. It's like a step closer to like being an adult, I guess, because even though everything's easier for us, maybe because like we had each other, but it's still like it makes you like a stronger person and independent. Sure.
So how did you overcome being homesick?
Just talking to my parents a lot. That's the only way, I guess. And try to keep myself like busy, like doing work and like playing tennis, obviously. Traveling, also like teammates helped, like friends. But just talk to them a lot, I guess.
And what are your plans after graduation? Are you going to go back home to Bolivia, or are you going to try to stay here?
Well, I've applied for the OPT. It's like you can work for a year. It's like part of the program of having the visa. So I applied for that, and I guess I'll see how it goes. I mean, I'll probably start looking for jobs for like a 1 year kind of training. So I think
and every time you go home, you feel kind of weird because it's kind of like you have a style of life here, and then you go back home and it's a completely different style of life. So how is that transition for you?
I think the main thing is that everyone back home is like late to everything. You probably have the same. So like they don't take time serious. So you go, like they invite you somewhere and then you have the mentality that you have to be at that time. Like
Yeah.
But then you get there and there's no one there, and then you're like, you know, that's kind of strange.
I think it's funny because when I go to class and it's like 5 minutes before class actually starts and there's nobody in campus walking to class because everybody's already in class, I was like, oh, I'm already late to class.
Yeah.
And it's not like we're late, but here the time, they take it like really serious, we could say. Yeah. Well, Zdenka, that was our last question. Thank you for coming and thank you for watching AU Global.